Safety car just may have had the biggest lose on the back section of the track.
Okay, I'm going to drag you down. We're about to go live, Shane. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Seabring, Florida, in the United States of America for round 13 of the East Coast V8 series. I'd like to welcome my co-commentator, Nathan Brown. Nato, how are you?
Howdy, y'all. How you doing?
Good, mate. Good.
Sorry, forgive me. The American accent pops out every now and then after the amount of rounds that we've had here now. I'm practically a local, wearing my flannel everywhere, songs and board shorts.
Nato, down in the Florida Keys, mate. Down in Florida, down in the south still. This is a great little circuit that we're at, the old Seabring Raceway.
She's certainly an interesting track, isn't she?
She is, formerly known as the Hendricks Army Airfield, an old training ground for the B-17s back in World War II. Bit of a fun fact just to get us started.
Well, you started tonight early with the fun facts, haven't you, Johnny?
Let's have a look at another fun fact. Let's have a look at the track. So we start off on the start-finish straight down into turn 1, which is a big sweeping turn, usually taken in third gear as we roll round into turn 2, and then we come into the tight twisted 3-4-5 complex and then roll out into turn 6, which is known as the Big Bend. Now that's a great opportunity to get into the slipstream, get up behind somebody and then attack under brakes coming down into the hairpin. And the hairpin's quite a little tricky corner because it's sort of, you have the big tight right, but then we have a little left-hand chicane as we come back out onto the old circuit, and then we sweep up through 8-9, which is known as the Fangio chicane, and then down into the hard braking corner of Cunningham at turn 10. And Cunningham's another great opportunity for overtaking. Then after Cunningham, we roll through Collier, and then after Collier, we go through turn 12 into another hard braking spot, another good overtaking opportunity into turn 13 at Tower, and then we head down the sweeping back straight through Bishop, down the Genderbine, excuse my German, Genderbine Bend through turn 15, and then we come sweeping into Le Mans, into turn 16, and then down the Ullman Straight into turn 17, known as Sunset, but will be known as from now on as Veacock Bend, which we'll talk about a bit later on in the broadcast, and then we sweep back onto the start-finish straight. She's a tight, twisty, bumpy, concrete, American-style circuit on an old airport. She's going to be tough racing, Nath.
Yeah, that's certainly one way you can describe this track. It's bumpy, most definitely. Would you like to be a shock absorber around here? No. Would you like to be a tyre around here? No. Would you like to be any of the driver's forearms after 300 kilometres of racing? No. So it's basically like it's like a supersized version of the tight street circuits that we get. So it is fast, it is flowing. It certainly takes a lot of concentration and a good amount of skill to be able to drive the car over the bumps correctly and get a good lap time around here. So from the commentator's point of view, I'm looking forward to it.
Of course, Nate. I'm a bit surprised, mate. I thought you'd want to be a Petter's shock absorber around this track.
Oh, well, we do, I do see how hard they work, and I'm much more of a viewer than a worker from that point of view, but some of our super shocks that we got in some of these supercars, they're certainly up to the task.
Definitely are. Let's have a quick look at the championship as we roll through our pre-race intro, and a big shout out to those that have already logged on to watch us, to Tyrone. Pity you're not with us tonight, mate. And, of course, Dave Baldock. What are you going to do, mate? You got no Roy. This is going to be really hard for you, I think.
Yeah, you're going to have to pick out a new viewer there, Dave. Someone else to tag team with for this evening. So good luck with that.
I think you might just have to come race next week, Dave. And a big shout out to Mary Partridge as well. Hopefully Harrison will have a good one tonight. And we'll just roll in now. We'll have a quick look at the championship because it is still as tight as ever, with Blake Warboys still just in front of Jamie McKnight. So Warboys on 2055. McKnight just behind on 2035, so only 20 points separating the two. Harrison Dengate still holding on to third with 1951, with a little bit of a buffer to Rob Carmichael on 1916, who's 1 point ahead of Scotty McCune. Paul Young from PRA sitting in sixth at 1839, followed by Michael Stewart from HRS, Christian Smart from USSR, and then we've got Nathan Gore, Nicholas Loveridge, Andrew Archer, Ash Barella back in 12th, Michael Dumbrell, Troy Maguire, Michael Whiting and Troy Sipple round out our top 16.
Yeah, it's a we say this every week, but that's because it's still true. It is just a very, very tight and close championship, and we called it a number of rounds ago, Johnny, but we're definitely it's definitely going to go down to the wire. We're getting closer and closer to that Bathurst 500, and the championship still as close as ever.
Yeah, I think it is very close, and I'm really looking forward to this Bathurst 500. I reckon it's going to come down to that race. I know of a couple of drivers that are going to be missing for that, unfortunately. I know Harrison Dengate's got a New South Wales karting titles on that weekend, so it'll be disappointing to see Harrison miss that one.
I'd say, well, good luck for the racing, H, but it's a bummer that we miss out on with you. Yeah, a tongue twister right there. It's a bummer that we miss out on you for our grand final.
And I think Blair Van Ree and Ryan Van Ruby in the same boat for that one, I believe.
There's more bragging rights about this series than there is a go-kart, so the boys will probably disagree with me.
And there's no technical glitch, Tyrone. You are 30 positions behind. It's all straight off Bet Anthony's U-Butte calculator. So we've got to trust race control, otherwise we get in trouble, as we've seen in the past around here. And we might just have a quick look while we're running through things. We've still got another 8 minutes before we get underway here. So we might just have a very quick look at qualifying and just see what happened over Sunday and Monday night. So we have a new car on pole. It's not Blake Warboys. Surprise, surprise.
Exciting.
We have Troy Maguire in P1, who just pipped Blake by 0.1 of a second, followed by Kobe Jones, our pole sitter and race winner from the last race. Rob Carmichael from Fishy with Michael Whiting right behind him in 5th. And Jamie McKnight in 6th with PRA's Paul Young right behind him, followed by Christian Smart, Nicholas Loveridge. Harrison Dengate rounds out the top 10. As we keep coming down, we've got in P11 James Chastaneuf from PRA. We put the call out to him, we put him under pressure, and he showed up and delivered with a P11 in quali.
Welcome, Chasty.
Yes, but there is a name at the back of the grid. I'm going to quote this. I know we're not allowed to call hard charger from the rear of the grid, but I'm going to say this guy is going to really impress us all tonight. Sitting back there in 34th, Roy Clark. Got to say, hats off to the guy. He's been giving us so much grief in the chats for over the last few weeks that he's actually putting his money where his mouth is and getting on track. So, no pressure, Dave Baldock.
Yeah, it's that Dave will have to be all over what Roy's doing tonight as well, and keep us up to date and see how his buddy's going.
Surely Dave's got to be the spotter. Dave's got to be the spotter for Roy. Has to be.
Yeah, it's I couldn't picture anyone else doing it. It would like crackers and cheese. They just go hand in hand.
Yes, it's kind of upset some of our. Of course, sorry. Yes, you're right, Dave. James is Team EMU as part of your banter alliance. But it's all one big happy family, so we can't go too wrong there. Yes. So anyway, that's the grid for tonight. So One other talking point tonight, of course, is we have a new safety car driver making an appearance for the first time. We have Shannon McNillan driving the safety car. So a few of the boys from Split 2 of vets will know Shannon quite well after winning at Mid-Ohio last Thursday night. So Shan is making his way. And of course, I've just got to say one thing with Shan. He's got big shoes to live up to here at Seabring. And Nath, I've got a video for you to watch.
Yeah, it's, I like videos, Johnny. Let's play away.
So he was off, and this is doing his job well. Cameron's saying, no, don't look at this. So I'm looking forward to what happens here. So he was away from the field, the big drift into the fence, onto these lid. And Cameron, you were doing so well, mate. Now look what you've done to the safety car. What are the RSW graphics guys going to say about that? That thing's a mess. But good job, Cam.
And big shout out to my mates at Luke at Raystar TV for allowing that one, and for those following along at home, the driver was a fellow by the name of Cam Veacock.
Yeah, that's I'm no driving expert. I'm trying to picture some words together here. I'm no driving expert, but I don't think that's quite how you take the final corner around this track.
All I can say is, for those that follow along and watch the not top 10 from iRacing, they'll be very familiar with that video. Big thank you to Ben Anthony for admitting throwing his mate under the bus. And for those that also follow Twitter, the iRacing Twitter account, it also got an appearance there. So Cam is I'd probably have to say, it almost be a influencer online now with the amount of videos that's gone around.
Yeah, even the words of worldwide superstar sort of pops into mind there with that sort of a following.
Absolutely.
Quite spectacular it was. So no pressure, Shannon. So the front straight isn't named at the moment, mate, but anything's possible like we just saw Cam do then.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sure Shan's listening along, so good luck.
And a big shout out to Dave Baldock there. Apparently Roy Clark has set a goal for tonight, so everyone following along at home will play Clark bingo. So his goal for tonight is to beat the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mark Peck. So good old Pecky. So it'll be good to see what happens with that one.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to keeping one eye out for him and seeing how he's going throughout the evening. So it'll be good. And my big question is, will we see him in the car again next week, or will he be back in the comments section with Dave giving him a hand again? Will Dave have withdrawals, or will both of you boys be racing? That's the real question, Johnny.
No, I reckon this is a ruse from Roy Clark to try and win Bathurst. We did put the call out. We did say you had to do 2 races to qualify. So with this, and then next week we front up at Imola. And then the week after that is Bathurst. So I reckon this is a ruse by Roy to qualify for Bathurst. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that is true. The math certainly does line up there.
And Roy would probably think he's half a chance, knowing how Jamie McKnight blows engines at Bathurst, so he keeps telling everybody. If you're following along at home, let us know who you're supporting tonight. Jump in the comments, say good day. Have any questions of Nath? We've got a big announcement to make later this evening about the commentary team for the next series. It's all happening.
That's going to be exciting. You got me intrigued, Johnny.
Yes, I think someone out there has been listening and has paid somebody off, but that's all right. We'll talk about it later.
It couldn't be one of our pit reporters, could it? Stepping up to the plate.
Yes, I think someone's gone all Matt Damon on NATO's finger, but that's all right.
Yep, the good old finger. Ladies and gentlemen, if I got a tip for you, don't make your finger look like a chicane. It doesn't go well. No doctor, but you don't have to be to figure that one out.
We're just about a minute away here from getting up to grid. And I've got to say, I'm really looking forward to this one. I reckon with Jones, Blake and Maguire on the front row, and the tight, twisty part of getting through turns 2, 3, 4 and 5 on the first lap is quite well known for accidents. And also coming down into the hairpin into turn 7. There's another spot that's quite well known for accidents as well. So this first lap will be really interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a safety car, dare I say it, but you're definitely right with how much carnage this track can create.
And of course, we all know Shen'd love to be let loose out there.
Yeah, I'm sure he's biting at the tip to be able to get out and about and drive the safety car, see if he can name another part of the track about him.
And that is the end of practice.
Oh, well, we've had a hot tip from Dave Baldock. Roy Clark has had a colour change, no more red. Oh, he got me curious, Dave.
Yeah, red's slow. And let's just see if we're set up here to go as we switch to the grid. And we are. So Troy Maguire on pole from Fishy Motorsport, followed by Blake Warboys from WK&P, KB Jones from USS, Rob Carmichael from Fishy, Michael Whiting from Fishy, Jamie McKnight from USS, and then Paul Young from PRA in 7th, Christian Smart from SSR in 8th, Loveridge in 9th, Den Gate in 10, Chastaneuf makes his debut in 11th, Gore in 12th, and we keep working our way down the grid. We've got Stewart in 13th from HSR, Ash Barella in 14th from WK&P, Andrew Archer, Scotty McCune, Timmy Nichols from Pecky's Performance Racing in 17, Jason Dibidito from Hypersonic, Frank Hodak from Renown in 19, 20th we have Blair Van Reeve from WK&P, Josh Strade, Troy Sipple from Scorpion Esports, Andrew Hoffman, Darren Crosby, and I'll keep rolling through here. And we have Paul Hayes from Scorpion, Steve Kennedy, Dave Garbett, Mark Peck, Todd Martin, Nathan Cook, Dylan Sipple, Ryan Van Ree, and Roy Clark rounds out our field as we go down to start watching what's going to happen as we're about to get going.
Another big grid, isn't it again, Johnny?
It is. It's another big grid tonight as we switch back to that one.
10 seconds to go. The clock's counting down. I'm sure their engines are not far away off revving, and away we go for another evening of racing.
And we're gridding at the moment. Here we go. Lights are on.
Green flag.
We're away.
And they're going. Oh, they're spreading out real wide, real early.
Oh, got an accident in the back. There's an accident in the back of the grid, and I've just lost the whole grid. Uh-oh. Go back to... I'm not sure what's happening here, mate.
Well, I'll keep some eyes peeled.
There we go. We got it back. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So, I think we've had an incident at the back there with Dave Garbett from Hypersonic. Warboys has gotten the jump on Jones, followed by Carmichael, Whiting, McKnight, Smart, Loveridge, Paul Young, James Chastaneuf in 10th, and Troy Maguire has dropped down 10 spots. I'm not sure what's happened to Troy. We might try and go to a replay after things settle down.
I didn't see anything that happened to Troy in particular. I've also have been trying to sort of fan out to see if there's any action anywhere throughout the field, but apart from that straight line incident at the start, I think they've all made it through the first half of the lap. Got Blake still ahead of Kobe, still ahead of Rob. They're all settling into a little bit of a freight train early on here. Michael White, McKnighting and Christian Smart not far in behind Nicholas Loveridge, trying to stay a part of them, and then it's a huge train back. Goes all the way back to Josh Strage before we got a tiny little gap to Ash Barella. So he's all the way back in 14th place. So still holding his position at the moment. He is Ash.
He's hanging on. He's doing reasonably well, young Ash. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep up that performance. We've got a car stopped out the back, Nath. Darren Sipple's stopped. Let's have a look. He's off the track. Looks like he's got that going again.
Yeah. Rolling, so no safety car, but definitely caught up in something there.
Yep, something maybe with Tim Nichols. Tim Nichols has been an incident as well. Just have to wait for him to cross the line here for hopefully for my SDK to sort itself out. For some reason we've got Ryan Van Ree in front, so I'm not sure what's happened there. So just ignore Ryan. Our race leader is Blake. That happened in that crash that we had before, so I might try and fix that on the fly here. So just bear with us.
Yeah, well, our pole sitter Troy Maguire has managed to go. He's gone all the way back down to 13th, but in these first couple of corners he has passed a couple of cars, so he's back up into 11th place. So a bit of work for Troy to make it back up to the pointy end, but I'm sure he's going to give it a red hot go. And watching some of the pit strategies that these fishy boys have done over the last couple of races, I'm sure they'll be all over it. Yeah, Chastity has made a couple of spots up in the 9th place.
Yeah, he's done reasonably well there. He's doing okay. It's good to see. Scotty McKeon just loses a spot to Troy Maguire, so Troy's definitely fighting his way back up through. Might just jump on board.
Sorry, Johnny. I think one man that may have been caught up as well early on, and this is young Harrison. I wasn't sure where he got to. He's all the way back down in 23rd place, so I think maybe something might have happened to him off that start line too.
We'll just see if we can find something. We might just jump back to the replay and see if we can pick up what happened at the start here. And it's going to work for me. Yes, it is. We're going to go. As we go further back down the field. And yeah, that's where I lost everything. So I apologise for that, everybody. As we go back to live pictures, as we look at Troy Maguire, who's working his way back up, back into 12th spot, chasing down the cars in front of him. For those following along at home, we've had a little bit of a technical glitch, and I don't know how to fix it, so we're just going to have to persevere and ignore Ryan Van Ree in P1.
I'm sure Ryan will be taking a screenshot of that and as proof that he was out front for a while there, making the most of it. But Blake is doing a good job at the moment, our actual race leader, at keeping Kobe behind him, but Kobe is certainly applying a lot of pressure to Blake at the moment.
It definitely is, and there we go. iRacing is just an SDK have just come to the party, so welcome back. Bye, Ryan.
It was good having you up the front there, Ryan. It was a very good stint, from considering you're in where is he? He's in 27th place, to be up the top there for a while. Fantastic start.
So he's still rolling, that's the main thing. And let's have a look as we have a look here. We've got James Chastaneuf doing reasonably well, sitting in 8th spot behind Nicholas Loveridge, with Paul Young right behind him. Oh, getting a bit loose there, old Chasty.
Yeah, it was very sideways for a second.
Of course, a very difficult track, Seabring, as we go from tarmac to concrete. Lots of different undulations, and a couple of corners that are reverse camber, making it even more treacherous.
Yeah, and some of these curves as well, they're really good to sort of, when you're hitting the apex just right, and when you're going up onto them, they're fine. It's when you go over the top and the car comes back across and you catch that inside lip, it makes it very, very awkward, to say the least, and it can make the car very unsettled sometimes.
Chastity getting the pass done on Loveridge, going into Veacock corner.
It was quite comfortable, wasn't it? It's almost like Nick wants to sit behind and save a little bit of fuel, doesn't he?
Well, don't forget, I'm still doing 51 laps. We're only 4 laps in here. Been a bit of a hectic start. We might just jump back up the front and have a look what's going on. It's all very tight up here as well, with Jones right up behind Warboys. As we go through into the Big Bend on turn 6, and see what's called the Big Bend. It just keeps going. As we come down into the hairpin, big hard braking zone, good passing opportunity. And then we've got this little switch back here at the end of the hairpin, just to keep everybody on their toes. As we come up now through the Fangio chicane, through turns 8 and 9. And into Cunningham, the hard braking opportunity again. As we sweep round through Collier. And then into Tower. You can sort of see that Kobe's happy to sit here, I think, and just wait for Blake to make a mistake.
Yeah, I reckon he's learned a thing or two from Jamie and is fuel saving at the moment.
As we come through Genderbine into Le Mans. Big sweeping corner onto the Ullman Straight.
And we can see quite easily how big and drawn out this track actually is and how much room an airfield takes up as they enter into our V-Cop corner here.
You can see by that there that Kobe was getting a very good slipstream up the end of the straight. Not enough room to get the job done though. We might just quickly jump back and have a look what's going on with McKnight and Whiting. So Jamie in the Commodore tonight. So for all those fans at home, let us know what you think about drivers that switch between Commodore and Mustang. I know it's been a talking point in quite a few leagues, in quite a few forums I've read in the past. Of course, speaking of getting a room, tonight we're actually coming to you from the PRA corporate tent.
Yeah.
So the last corporate tent we were put into, of course, was back at Phillip Island down in Siberia when
that was a very cold corporate tent, that was, Johnny.
When race control centres down to the USSR corporate tent in Siberia. But tonight we're coming to you from the PRA corporate tent. It's a little bit more luxurious, Nath.
Yeah, it's I almost feel out of place here. It's a very, very lovely and first class kind of feeling. It's a good thing that my pinky's banged up so that I can be drinking my cup of tea with my pinky out, because anything less than that will it won't be suffice here.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, these PRA boys have got everything covered.
Nothing but the best.
And of course, we didn't let race control know we were being put up by PRA.
Yeah, we thought we'd keep the peace.
Let's go back, have a look how Rob Carmichael's getting on. So these boys are all still bunched up, 4 on the line here. Wallboy's under a lot of pressure from Jones. Jones is right up under his rear wing here. Will we see an overtake? No, we won't. Still can't quite get the job done.
It's interesting having watched both these boys and how quick they are. After watching them for these last couple of laps, just the slight variations in the racing line that they both take. Like they're both, again, doing almost identical lap times around the track, but they're both just slightly different in the way that they tackle each of these big, fast-flowing corners. So it just shows that there's more than one way to get one of these supercars around the track quickly.
I guess you're going to try slightly different lines if you are the guy behind and you think you're a bit quicker.
Yeah, most definitely. So it's certainly going to be interesting, and to break out some early on fuel numbers that have calculated before coming into this one. It's roughly based off nothing but well, let's have a stab in the dark here, ladies and gentlemen. It should hopefully be about 18 laps plus or minus a Nathan guesstimation of 5 laps that we see. So lap 18, that's with no air, no car, no one around you, would probably be about the maximum you could do based off of a non-fuel saving driver, or non-fuel saving stint. If you're sitting in behind like Kobe is, or even like Rob is, there's a very high chance with how fast this track is that you might be able to extend that by a couple laps. So dare I say it, that I reckon an overcut tonight we should be able to see lap 20, Johnny. is when we might see the longest stint go for.
Might see that, but I kind of also have to agree with Toddy Haynes as well, because Kobe is working hard on his tyres, and like as you get down the end of the Ulman Straight here, he seems to go through VCOC a lot more aggressively than what Blake does. So it's the old fuel versus tyres equation I think might come into play as well here.
Yeah, no, that's one factor that I wasn't really bringing into it as well. That those tyres, like at the Nürburgring, we mightn't actually see the tyres last a full stint, which could be an interesting ploy. As Kobe fires it up the inside on Blake.
Gets the job done.
Blake gave plenty of room there as well.
And of course we've got Carmichael and Whiting and the Sushi train sitting behind these two guys. And I'm sure they would love to get into the battle here.
Yeah, these two boys certainly won't want the Sushi train to stay on their own. They want the Sushi train to be leading.
And it's going to drop back to another little battle here, side by side. Paul Young and Troy Maguire. Troy getting past Youngie, which is not good to see for our PRA faithful that are watching tonight. So this is another tight little bunch here. Loveridge has dropped back to these two to form this little pack here. We might just go back and have a quick look at some of the other packs that are forming. We're having some pretty good clean racing, which is good to see. We've got Ash Barella under a bit of pressure from Josh Drage with Andrew Archer and Michael Stewart just behind them two. And then Harrison Dengate is in the 18th trying to fight his way back under a fair bit of attack here from Jason Dibadito.
And Josh Drage, just got past Ash Barella just as after we went past all that.
So it's a great little battle. Josh Drage in the Becky Performance Racing colours.
Cars are in that battle pack at the moment there, Johnny, so they're certainly all starting to bunch up and make this mid-pack battle very interesting, aren't they?
They definitely are, and we might just keep working our way back through the pack a bit more and just have a look at how Roy Clark's getting on. So Roy Clark started rear of grid in the blue PRA car, changed his colours from red to blue. Surprise, he's not driving blue 37, but it's alright. We'll come talk about that one a bit later. And of course behind him we have Mark Peck. So Pecky's been passed by Roy, fighting his way up 8 spots. I don't think the boys have told him yet that he can't be the hard charger because of the fact that he's started rear of grid.
He's certainly driving as if he is going for that hard charger award, isn't he?
I reckon he is. I reckon he's got sick of typing to us that he wants to come and talk to us. And we might just jump back up the front and see how Kobe's getting on. So he's still 1 second in front of Blake. So Blake's still hanging on here. They've pulled out a little bit from Carmichael and Whiting. Jamie McKnight and Christian Smart punched up. So the Enduro teammate to the USSR team. Two team bosses, the team boss of United Sim Sports and team boss of Synergy Racing, duking it out here on the track side by side.
Yeah, they're always very, very close together, these two, aren't they? It's very understandable why these guys had decided to pair up and do an endurance race together, because they're both certainly very, very evenly matched.
Yeah, they're a good little outfit, these two. And of course, sitting behind them in 7th, further 3.5 seconds back, is James Chastity from EMU Racing. And then we have that battle of Loveridge, Maguire, Young and Gore. I must say, Nathan, I'm pretty impressed with 8 laps of some pretty clean racing, which has been good to see.
Yeah, and especially for such an intense track like this that does usually bring some form of carnage or does bring a safety car at some point in time, all the boys are doing very, very good at keeping it clean, keeping the panel. Even looking at all the cars throughout the field, there's not many cars with damage at all. So they're all doing a fantastic job at the moment.
They definitely are. Scotty McKeon just getting the job done there on Nathan Gore. So old Scotty, the former New South Wales State Super Sprint champion, getting the job done.
He's certainly putting that that title and that experience to use, isn't he?
Definitely
Clawing
is.
his way forward through the grid.
Definitely is. Another one of the vets, boys. No, driving at the ripe old age of 55, doing an awesome job out there tonight.
Certainly out to show all the young fellas, including myself, how it's done.
Well, rumour has it he does 15 hours a week on the sim, so he puts a lot of work and a lot of effort into it, so he's not getting the results running up near the top 10 by fluke.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of those things, like anything, isn't it? You have to put in the effort to see the reward. It doesn't just come through doing absolutely nothing. So there's proof in the pudding with what he's doing.
Absolutely. So we'll let the construction bosses under a bit of pressure again here from Nathan Gore, trying to come back at him. And we might keep a close eye on this battle and come back a bit later. Harrison Dengate, he's right up with Frank Hodak, keeping the pressure on there. This is still a nice little tight battle from Drage, Archer, Hodak, Dengate, all in close contest here.
Yeah, they're just behind. They haven't got the having a few guys behind them as well. There's certainly Harrison having a big look there. Didn't quite get to pull it off. It's certainly our closest pack sort of throughout the field, isn't it?
It definitely
spread out
is.
a little bit, but they're all quite close still.
Definitely is. So Dave Baldock just letting us know what's going on in race control.
The inside gossip.
Inside gossip. Good to see they're all happy in there.
Yes, they're having a quite a good cruisy start to this race so far. They are race control.
As we jump back up the front just to have a look, see what's going on. So War Boys is 1.2 seconds behind. Whiting's 2.2 now, still with Carmichael right behind him. Bunching it up reasonably well. And the man leading our hard charger award at the moment, of course, is Josh Drage. So good to see one of the Pecky boys running away with it at the moment. Up 8 spots.
Fantastic start to his race so far.
He's going to be fairly happy with that. We might sort of have a look a bit further down the back at a few of our other mates. So young Ryan's up 3 spots after being in P1. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
It's 29th up to 32nd up to P1, back down to 29th. That's a lot of cars, isn't it, Johnny?
Yeah, of all the times to get a glitch. Good to see Toddy Martin in the NAB livery Scorpions Esport car behind him. Big shout out to our big fan of our broadcast, old Mick Rush. So Rushy, if you're out there, mate, jump on, leave a comment, keep Baldock honest.
Yeah, I was about to say, give Dave some company in the comments there. He's certainly doing his best without his mate here. Oh, Ryan
in the background, in the fence. We might just jump back to that. He hasn't got it going yet. We might just have a quick look what happened there. Oh, he's got it going. Might go to the replay.
Rolling now.
Oh, she snapped and went the wrong way, and there went to the fence. So, sorry, Ryan. Didn't mean to get you again.
Well, it's I think there was someone that was feeling sorry for him. Nathan Cook, whilst we were watching that, also had a little bit of a moment in a similar sort of section there too.
Well, we'll jump on that. We'll have that too. The old dirty pig
Both
replay.
drivers are going now.
And someone forgot to tell Cookie to turn right. Righto, let's go back. Having a bit of a look through the field. Jason Dibadito from Hypersonic. He's worked his way up into 19th. So he's down 1 spot from his starting position. And of course, Ash Barella in front of him in 18th. Michael Stewart in 17th. And Josh Drage. He's lost a couple of spots as well. Put the old commentator's curse on him, I think, Nath.
Yeah, it's and we need to let these boys know that they're allowed to keep pressing on once we once we go through and put them up on the camera.
No, Dave, we're not going to talk about your sandpit exposition last week, mate, and vets. Some of us are akin that to the explorers that crossed the Sahara.
Quite a moment, was it?
It was. It was huge. Let's just say they put the sand in so you don't make it to the wall, and he made it to the wall. So this is a great little battle we've got going on here. Just to segue back away from Dave Balder.
Yeah, the keeping an eye on all this as well. There's cars getting past left, right, and centre, and plenty of guys having runs. And again, back to that clean racing topic. All of them are doing it without touching, bumping, or doing anything silly. It's fantastic to see. Young Harrison trying to get past Ash in the middle of it. And up the front of it, with Josh Drage. Sort of leading the pack. Michael Stewart just behind him.
We might just jump up to McKnight. Looks like Chastity's catching up behind these boys, and Troy Maguire, our pole sitter, has gotten onto the back of this train as well.
Yeah, they're all starting to close up nicely, aren't they?
They definitely are.
They all seem to be doing some very, very consistent lap times as well, especially considering sort of how hard we think that this track is on the tyres and that. A lot of these guys have got some very good race setups going on because they're not dropping off dramatically on their lap time. So it's another big competitive side to see out of people with the change in the qualifying setup to the race setup. That tyre degradation that you get throughout the run, it certainly makes a huge impact to it as it goes on. So they're all doing very, very good, and they all must have a very good setup under their feet at the moment.
Sorry to interrupt, Nathan. I'm just going to jump. I've had three guys go off at the same time. Let's have a look what's happened here. Oh! We just caught the end of that. I'm not sure whether Steve Kennedy was the lead. We'll just change again. So Steve Kennedy went off. I think that was pretty innocent. We'll go back to the Barella incident. So I think that was a big dive from Dividito on Barella there. So that will definitely have race control looking busy.
Yeah, they'll have to stop their singing for a second and have a sticky beak at that one. So I'm sure they'll be all over it, though. They will.
Let's have a look and see what race control are cooking up in terms of penalties. I'm sure Ben's busy in the kitchen whipping something up for the boys.
Yeah, he's. I've heard his recipes are one of a kind, so we'll see how they stack up after it all comes out of the oven.
So, of course, we have this battle here for 5, 6, 7 and 8. These guys are all fairly well bunched up. Old Dave having a crack at race control and split 2, of course. Ash Barella, who's in that incident.
It's good to see that there's no love loss. Quality banter. What we're all about on our Tuesday nights. Quality banter. So if you're watching in from home, let us know where you're listening into all this banter with, and who you're going for and who you reckon our podium will be. So still a long way off yet. So all bets could be on and all bets could be accurate. So we will find out in due time.
Of course, we're only 13 laps down here of this 51 lap race. We've got another car that has stopped on track. We might just have a look and see if they get going. Something's happened to Timmy Nichols again. Timmy's off there in the grass. Will he get it going? Yes, no, maybe. He's well and truly off the track, so it may not lead to a safety car, but he's got it in gear and we're away. So we'll just jump back up the front Warboys is now 1.2 seconds behind Jones. Whiting's dropped off the back of this pack. 2.7 seconds. Carmichael's dropped off the back of Whiting. And it's a further 7 seconds in front of Smart. And then we've got that battle we were talking about before between 5, 6, 7 and 8. And then Paul Young from PRA back in 9th.
I've heard a car, sorry Johnny, I've heard a car request for a tow, number 72.
Car 72. Not sure who that one is.
72, that's our Dylan Sipple.
Dylan Sipple. Let's have a look. What's going on? He's parked. He's off the line. So I'm into at race control too here.
There is no safety car, no safety car.
There we go. We just heard Ben Anthony, no safety car.
There you go, so he must be in a safe enough position there that it's been deemed all good for him to tow there. So good advantages of a big open track like this is that it's much safer for if an incident does happen with a driver, that they can quite easily avoid any potential issues or getting caught up on the track.
Bit disappointing. I was thinking we were about to see Shannon McMillan come out. I was getting all excited to see it. But
yeah, me too. I'm sure Shannon was probably just as excited as well, Johnny.
So I have to put Shannon back in the box. As Blake's caught up a little bit here, he's right up behind Kobe again, so this is going to be rather interesting. We were talking earlier, there was a call that tyres might be an issue, but it looks like we've got away with it, maybe. Oh, a big slide. Maybe it is the tyres. Maybe Jones's tyres are starting to fall off.
Yeah, that whilst the aggression results in very, very good lap times, the tyres certainly don't like it.
Yeah, that might have been a very good call from Toddy Haynes. And we might just have a quick jump back, see how the McKnight battle's going. People's champion under all sorts of pressure from Chastaneath here.
Yeah, this battle pack's really closed up, hasn't it? And we're not far away from this first pit window, so I wonder who will be the first to blink, who will try the undercut.
Being such a tough track on tyres, you'd think the undercut would be worth doing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Johnny. It's certainly a track where possession is half the battle, and if you can do the undercut to get some green tyres for one lap over your competitor, it will certainly help out.
Absolutely. And of course, we're probably looking at that earliest window for pitting. It would have been around lap 15 to lap 18, so it's going to be very interesting to see here if somebody buys into that.
Yeah, because if you pit now, you should still be able to make it home just with one more stop, so it will be very interesting to see what some of these boys have got, what they've got teed up, and see what some of them have got sitting in their ongoing fuel calculations throughout the race, or if they're just simply trying to stick to some numbers and see if they can last out for this first stint, so that for the second stint they can keep that undercut up their sleeve. But here's a question for you, Johnny. If you're in this battle pack of these four boys here right now, would you try to make the first stint last as long as possible, maybe lose a position in the first round of pit stops, so that you had the potential advantage for an undercut in the second stint, or would you try and stay ahead for as much as possible during the race?
Well, Maguire's gone the early call. Maguire's in the pits. If it was me, I'd probably split the difference. I'd probably come in on lap 17.
Yep.
Split the difference, that way you've got some tyres left and you're not losing too much in fuel. It's starting to get into some lap traffic as well for these guys. As Jones is still under pressure from Warboys, he's half a second behind. These guys are still 3 seconds ahead of Whiting with Carmichael. Frank Hodak's also gone into the pits now, so it'll be rather interesting to see. Kobe looking very twitchy as we come through Collier.
So just having a quick listen over the radio there, and that's yeah, I believe that oops, sorry, I've just clicked the going back to L plates myself. I've just clicked the wrong button on my end. But I do believe Dylan Sipple was saying that he was having a few issues with his computer as well, which isn't helping. So with a bit of luck, he'll be able to get that sorted, and we'll be able to join us back racing for this evening.
Well, good to see him get out there. And your mum says hi too, Nath.
Oh, g'day, Mum. Yeah, we're coming to you from America. Howdy. We've been left unsupervised again, we have.
So, these two guys are really putting on a show here. This is a ding-dong battle. Of course, War Boys got the jump early on after the start. And thanks to good old iRacing, we didn't get to see what happened with Troy Maguire at the start.
Yeah, I'm not sure if SDK will agree with me or not here, but I'd almost be correct in saying that both between Kobe and Blake, that both would have led a very similar amount of laps so far, wouldn't they, to this point in the race?
I don't have that information up in front of me.
So, no, it's okay. So where my mind was thinking here is that if they both had, like, plus or minus a few laps, if they both had a similar amount of time in the lead where one's following so close behind, the fuel for both drivers is probably going to be a very, very similar amount. So it's not like one of them's going to gain any more than the other in his first pit stop.
Yeah, you would think that would be the case.
I think it'll come down, like you were saying, I think it'll come down to the tyres and who can make the biggest advantage out of these new tyres.
And of course, another factor coming into play now as well is lap traffic. We've been running now 17 laps under green flag conditions. So no safety car to bunch the boys back up. We might just have a quick look through the pack. We might see how Roy Clark is getting on. Putting his money where his mouth is and getting behind the wheel tonight.
Fantastic to see. Up 13 spots at the moment from the rear of grid, so he's certainly giving it a red hot go, isn't he?
Definitely is, and of course he's probably got Dave Baldock getting all excited about being the hard charger. Oh, well, he just about lost it there though.
Yeah, it was a it was a moment and a half.
Cue the Benny Hill music.
Oh, sorry, on a side note, Kobe has just come into the pits.
Oh, and Blake has continued.
Yeah, Blake has stayed out. I wonder how this will go, Kobe, in relation to Troy.
And we might just jump in to Kobe, have a look where he is as he just pulls up to his stops. And we'll just try and find Paul Young's come in as well, so he's not alone.
Yeah, there's that Nicholas Loveridge in the background as well. A few of them are starting to peel in at this 1/3 race distance.
So Troy Maguire is still a fair way back as he's coming around into Le Mans to go up the Ullman Straight. So I'm wondering whether Maguire's had some issues with traffic. Of course, he did come back out a fair way down the train. So, you know, when you are a fast car and you're coming back in lower down the grid, you are going to have some issues.
So there we go, so Kobe's back out on the track in some very, very clean air at the moment.
And
Got Nathan Cook behind him, but no one in front of him for a long time.
And of course, everyone's coming in now on this lap. So let's just see when Troy comes out. It's past Young. So Kobe well and truly well in front. Kobe's sitting up in 11th. Troy back in 16th. So I reckon he's been caught out by traffic.
Yeah, I reckon so too. It's always a big factor in these races. It can either fall in your favour and you gain a whole heap of time, or you're the unlucky one that gets caught up and loses all that time. So wonder what Blake's going to do this lap. Coming around the final corner now through Viacott corner, and Blake's in. Looks like he pulled it up nice and early this time, which is good.
Of course, last race for old Blake. Caught speeding in the pits not once but twice. It's absolutely.
Lane wasn't his friend last time. And beautifully pulls it up on the stops too.
And Whiting right behind. So let's have a look where our virtual race leader is, KB Jones. So KB coming down the Ullman Straight. So this will be very interesting to see whether this extra lap that Wallboys has done pays off or not.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very close, isn't it?
As we come into VCOP corner. Sweep around under the bridge, under the start-finish straight.
This is going to be very close. I reckon Kobe might have him here.
I reckon he'll have him. Wallboys is just
He'll
rolling.
have the momentum
He's got him.
and speed.
He's got him.
Want him. Yeah, and there you go. That's the difference that one lap can make, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course, Wallboys on cold tyres now as well, so he has to settle in, get this stint going, but he's made a big leap on Michael Whiting. Carmichael, he's come out, and of course, looking at that, Christian Smart's caught up a fair bit on Carmichael. James Chastaneef's moved in the 6th, Maguire's in the 7th, and Jamie McKnight, the biggest loser out of the pit stops, back in 8th. I wouldn't have picked that, Maguire.
Yeah. No, that's. I wonder if he's had an issue or had something happen in his pit stop that's caused that.
Or has he put a hell of a lot more fuel in than everybody else?
Yeah, I wonder if he'll try to make this stint last longer, or just fuel save as much as possible on this middle stint so that he can make up all that time in the second pit stop.
Can never underestimate the people's champion.
I'm sure he's got a plan. I'm sure he's going to pull it off, and we might be wowed by it by the end of the evening.
That is a very good question, Mark. That's probably one for Dave to answer. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Dave's left foot doing the braking. And let's have a look. There's been an incident. Ryan Van Ree. Let's go to the Dirty Pig replay. What's happened to Rhino? Don't know, but he's been sitting there for a little bit. He's got it going now. Not having a great night for old Ryan.
It's not quite going well for him, is it?
Let's have a bit of a look through the pack. Might pick up some other of our mates. Paul Hayes, Mr. Barella in front of this pack. And then Jason Dibadito and Darren Crosby behind, followed by Roy Clark.
Yeah, Roy's having a fantastic drive, isn't he? Up into 7-8.
Definitely is. Of course, Jason Dibadito right up the back there, having a good hard look.
That's an interesting point that you bring up there, Dave, about his about the paint job that the Van Rees boys have. That is questioning whether or not they like it or not, Johnny, because they keep trying to scrape it off each week.
I'm sure you liked it when it went past on Thursday night, Dave. Boom tish.
That's yeah, I'm sure Dave will have something to say about that one. I love our Tuesday night banter. It's great. So whilst this banter was going on as well, I was having based off of the intel that we got and some of the pit stops that were going around here. Approximately lap 33 is our critical number for being able to bring it home in the final pit stop. So 33, those that are good at fuel saving, maybe lap 31 could be enough to lap 32 could be enough to bring it home and complete the undercut, especially if there's a safety car. So ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye out for that lap number.
And just to interrupt while we're on it, Blair Van Rees had an incident as well, so we'll go to the replay on that. Looks like he's coming up into Veacock corner. Let's see if Cam will be proud of this. Almost a Cam Veacock incident.
Very close, wasn't it?
Poor old Blair. Of course, big congratulations to Blair and Ryan. And Herman, of course. They all went to Bega on the weekend and won the Sapphire Karting Championship.
Yeah, they had a fantastic night, a fantastic weekend out racing there, didn't they?
They did. They definitely did. Let's just jump back up the front, check out what's going on. So Kobe Jones out to a 3-second lead now from Warboys. Whiting 3 seconds back again from Warboys. So the guys have all seemed to have settled down a little bit after that first pit stop. And we're starting to get a few gaps starting to form.
Yeah, their times are very close, these front three boys. Between Blake, Kobe and Michael, they're all within 1/10 of a second of each other on their lap time, so nothing to split them at the moment.
Absolutely nothing to split them. Dave, I love racing against you, mate. Puts a smile on my face every Thursday night. And let's have a look. We've got a few little battles. We've got Loveridge, who of course is keeping the pressure on Christian Smart in front of him. And the other little battle we've got as well is Frank Hodak. He's keeping up with Scotty McCune. As we work our way through, Michael Stewart, he's doing reasonably well for HRS by himself. And then we've just got this other little pack here with Barella. And I'm not sure who that was. Troy Sipple going bush in the background.
Yeah. Ran a little bit wide there. Safely rejoins though.
I thought it might have been Ash for a second. Normally when we flick the Ash, something happens.
Yeah, it's don't worry, my heart had stopped for a second too, thinking that we did it again.
We may have a car stopped on track, mate. I'm just going to go have a look.
Ooh, interesting.
Nathan Cook looks like he's got it going again. Another one, he's found the tyres. Don't forget, this is a 300k race. We're not even halfway through it. Some of these boys will fatigue tonight, I think.
Yeah, it's a very, very demanding track, this one. So concentration levels, even though you got so many straights that are so drawn out between each of the corners, every single corner is so unique with the way the characteristics of the bumps are and how it flows that you really got to concentrate as if you're concentrating the whole way around in some of the tight street circuits that we've been to. Absolutely.
So Paul Young running in 8th. So he might just, seems to be enjoying the hospitality in the PRA 10. You might just have a look what's going on with Dave and Shervo, see if they approve how well Paul's going. Yep, I don't think the boys are too happy. I think they're looking for a bit of a lift out of Paul.
Yeah, I'm sure they're after everything that they can get.
So Paul sitting 0.6 of a second behind the People's Champion, McKnight. So this will be an interesting battle.
Safety car, Johnny. Safety car.
Safety car. Oi.
Alright, I'm not sure what's going on. I just heard it over the race control radio there.
It looks like Frank Hodak has stopped on track. So, of course, we're going to unleash the Shannon.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, watch out, we have an emergency. Shannon has been let loose.
And I'm sure Richard's happy about it. Our regular race safety car driver, not with us tonight. And we might just have a quick look here. Something else has popped up. Shannon McNellan, I think he might just because he's stopped. Oh, SDK said he crashed, but I think he's just stopped waiting for the leader. We'll get back to you.
Still sitting there at the moment, waiting for. Oh, I see the headlights flashing. G'day, Shannon. He's saying a good hello.
And
Okay.
I think the safety car might have been cancelled, no? Not sure. Where's the leader is at the back. We'll wait and see. There's our race leader.
Yep.
Yeah, we know you're in race control, Rich. You're just not driving the safety car.
He's supervising. Safety car supervisor for tonight, Rich is.
And of course,
Kobe safety car is on the right-hand side at the pit exit.
there we go. Ben Anthony confirming we're under safety car conditions. As the safety car gets picked up. So Shannon McMillan out in the track. Into action.
Away.
So of course half race distance. Be very interesting to see whether you go for the pit stop here or not. Common sense tells you to fill it up. So of course Shannon McMillan in the safety car tonight instead of our regular driver Richie Barella. And a big shout out to Jason Gambold who's watching. Good to see you, Gambo. So,
whilst we got this safety car, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter when you've joined in at the start or halfway through at the moment. Let us know who you think's going to be on our podium tonight. So we'll see if Kobe and Blake and Michael can stay up the front, or if you reckon someone will come through and mix it up and nick it from them. So they're all starting to file in, all starting to catch up and file in. A good chance for a lot of them to, hit that reset button. Now that we are, well, basically at the by the time we go green, we'll be at the halfway point. So 150k into it, hit the reset button. Let's sprint home for the last 150k's.
of course, Dave Baldock, I know you're getting sore fingers, mate, and you're from typing, but have some thoughts for Nathan with that gammy pinky finger that he's got. And of course I did say that we'll have a big announcement, so the story has it that somebody has paid off Nathan's doctor and he's been banned from playing soccer and has been told he needs to do more sim racing to strengthen up his pinky finger. Is this true?
I wish I could correct you or change anything there, but that is true. As of my latest update, I've been told to one of my objectives to help build up hand strength is by putting the simulator up to the firmest strength it can and trying to build it up. So the good old Fanatec's going to get a real workout. And no more goalkeeping for me for at least 12 months since the operation. So that basically rules out goalkeeping for next season.
Oh, I'm heartbroken, mate. I really am. I was getting a little bit excited, thinking we were going to have Baldock and Clark as my co-commentators next season.
I'm sure that we could. I'm sure that we could incorporate something for them, or I could step down as supervised pit reporter and let those two hand over the reins to those two.
Looks like we're going to go another lap under safety car here. Of course, young Shen doing a really good job so far.
Yeah, he's keeping that safety car nice and square and straight so far.
So just to recap where we're at the moment, we are at half race distance, close enough to it. Most of our guys have pitted on lap 17 and 18, with Troy Maguire going for the undercut on lap 15. So of course, goodbye. One of the hypersonic boys getting a free pass there, and then crashing, I think. Surely not. Matty McMillan flashing the lights. Let's have a look there. I just want to see what's happened here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure.
Yeah, so am I. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh dear.
Ben Anthony, no comment. Nice to know I'm not the only one that has an accident at turn 1 under a safety car at Seabring. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So we've got that's where Miley came from, no?
There you go. There's a real fun fact of the evening.
And apologies to Fletcher Christian if you are. And here comes Dave again. Hi, Dave. Bye, Dave. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, that's welcome to driving the safety car, Shan. That's what that is.
Wow. I'm sure Rich is really impressed with that.
I've got no words. That's. Oh dearie dear. Well, that has been one very eventful safety car, this has. Yeah, so he's made it through.
So, just reading a comment from Dave. Sure, your doctor's name wasn't Dr. Bulldog.
Does sound familiar. It did start with a B.
I'll just see if I've got a replay. I don't think I've got to have a replay of that to show. Unfortunately, Stewie. Good to see you back, Stewie. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's amazing he comes and watches when you keep dangling nuggets in front of him, Nate.
Yeah, I was going to say it's. I have been under a little bit of pressure to get the good old nuggets to stew. Although the only issue I have, because in Queensland you can go here, there, and everywhere with your caravan, I never know where he is. My Uber driver keeps losing satellite reception trying to get him the nuggets, so I might have to hand deliver him.
Here we go. Drum roll. Safety car's been let loose. Ooh. Coming up to VCOT corner. Drum roll.
Will he survive? Will he survive?
Oh!
Up nice. The old Shan would have sent it in there quicker.
Shan McMillan, ladies and gentlemen.
And he survived it.
We'll jump back on board. KB Jones holding the field right up here.
Angry pack behind him.
It's going to be very interesting. Still holding them up. Still holding them up.
Shaping it up nicely to get a good run on the straight.
He's away. And we are green flag racing. Oh, sounds like someone in the wall of the back word.
Yep, someone's in the wall. Paul Young, I think it is. PRA car.
Yeah, it is Paul Young. We might just go to the replay to that.
Oh dear.
Jump on the dirty pig. No, Christian Smart. Into Young. Oh no. That's going to keep race control busy.
Yeah, that's Rich and Ben are going to be all over this one, so certainly an interesting start for Mr. Young. I don't think it's what he would have wanted, but unfortunately, it's just the cards that you get dealt sometimes.
Oh, the boys in the PRA corporate tent, they don't look too impressed about that.
No, it's it might be a fancy place, but it's yeah, they're certainly passionate about what's happened here.
Of course, Peacock corner claims another.
Fortunately, there wasn't the safety car that we were expecting to go through there.
So
Dave Baldock absolutely shattered. Up the front though, Kobe's managed to get a little bit of a lead on Blake, who's got about a very similar gap back to Michael Whiting, and then the freight train from there follows for the rest of the field.
definitely starting to space themselves a little bit though. Just have a look at these intervals. It's kind of what we needed halfway through this race though, to bunch the boys back up. Jones off for a flyer. And there we go, race control, handing out the first penalty. Car 999, Christian Smart, for that incident we saw before in Veacock Corner. There's Jones and Warboys coming around back onto the start-finish straight.
Yeah, everyone seems to have a little bit... the restarts and the starts of our races are highly competitive, but everyone seems to be getting very, very good at being able to get into their rhythm and back into the groove very quickly after a stoppage in the race.
Of course, Kobe Jones showing who the real class driver was out of this Scop entry for Bathurst. We had Jones in the USSR car with Hayden Veld. We all thought Veld might have been the future People's Champion, but Jones is turning it on here. Nash Barella's had an incident, mate. We might just jump and have a look what's happened there. Ash and Timmy Nichols. And still getting it on.
That's a big one.
That's a
Timmy
big one.
Nichols, he's still parked there at the moment, Timmy Nichols. Hasn't moved. Ash has got it going and is back underway, but yeah, Tim is still sitting there.
We might just go back a little bit on that one. Go back to the replay. No, I've missed it there. Not having much luck with catching things tonight.
SDKs are making it interesting, isn't it? Oh, here we go. Timmy is back underway. He is
going again. That's good to see.
Yeah, he's going again. His Commodore looks like a whole Monaro now, but he is going though, so...
Yeah, she looks very second-hand. Good thing
entirely
the boys...
sure what happened.
Good thing the boys at Pecky Performance Racing will be able to get that back up and running for him.
Yeah,
For next sneak.
But those pit crew boys will certainly have a bit of work to do there to get that straight by the end of this evening.
As Warboys is now 0.6 behind Jones. Big shout out to Mario, he's come back. Have you missed anything exciting? Nah, Mario, nothing's happened, mate.
It's good that you're able to still join on the stream here, Mario. Although we have on a different note, we have a new third place getter at the moment. Rob Carmichael up into third.
Rob
got past his mate in the sushi train, Michael Whiting.
Right, so we've got Carmichael, Whiting, Maguire, the Fishy boys, with James Chastaney from Emu sitting right behind them, proudly running the Bay 21 logo on the bonnet, part of the Banter Alliance crew.
He's certainly trying to make himself the meat in the sushi roll at the moment, isn't he, Mr. Chastanoof?
Definitely is.
If they keep battling like this, the man just behind who's waiting to pounce, the People's Champion, Mr. McKnight. So if they keep battling away like this, he'll certainly be able to join in a piece of this action before he knows it.
Of course, with these three boys battling here, what's the number one rule, Nathan? Don't take
go
out
to
your
glory and take it all. Oh, wrong rule.
Don't take out your teammate.
It's good for viewing, watching a good chunk of your team all close together, and the marketing guys certainly love it. It makes you a little bit nervous when you're driving because you want to do everything you can to get the highest spot possible, but at the same time you don't want to be that guy that's taking out your teammate.
course, as well, if we start thinking now, oh, here we go, some different lines through the old V-cock.
Yeah, going too wide on exit. Both getting good drive.
No one taking the Cameron line, going out wide, super wide, putting it on the roof. These guys are really having a ding-dong battle here, aren't they?
Yeah, they're giving it a red-hot go, aren't they? And
here comes Chastity.
you can tell that their tyres are quite new because they're able to run a few different lines and still get a good drive off the corner and not really miss out on anything too much. So it'll be interesting to see how this battle goes as their tyres get older.
There's another factor here in play that we've got to talk about, Nath, and that is we're 30 laps through. We've got a tight battle in the championship, and we've got 4 cars between Blake and McKnight.
Yes, that is certainly a very valid point, and one point we haven't actually touched on too much at all tonight is the championship.
And just also, I did see an off track earlier for McKnight, so he's not going to get the bonus points for no incidents, I think. So this could be a real challenge.
Blake just keeps putting, he doesn't have to do anything silly behind Kobe because Kobe's doing his all to win the race, and I'm sure Blake loves to win races, but he'd be thinking of the big picture, and I'm sure right. Jamie would definitely have it in the big picture in mind at the moment too. So here you go. I'm going to lead in with a question here, Johnny. If you're in Jamie's shoes and you're seeing all this battling going on ahead, do you try to employ the same tactic that you've had all series and just see how it pans out? Or do you do everything you can to gain any and every position that you can, no matter sort of, even if the risk is a bit higher?
Oh, look, let's ride on, Nath, while I think about it, and we'll do a lap around the circuit.
There we have it. That's one full lap around here with Mr. Blake Warboys. It certainly shows how bumpy and how much hard work some of this track is. Certainly not much rest in the tight, twisty parts, but they get a lot of that rest back during the long straights that it has. And when you're sort of driving, and when you're a driver doing these long races, sometimes that straight can feel like forever whilst you're waiting for the next section to pop up.
Back to answer your question, Nath, you do what McKnight's doing now. You pass people as he gets past James Chastaneuf, and you hope that these boys in the train here are hurting their tyres as they battle it out with themselves.
Yeah, it's a. He's certainly very good at playing his cards right and doing everything he can to get ahead where he can, Mr. McKnight. You can certainly tell that this man has got a lot of racing experience.
Races with a lot of confidence. That's all I'll say. Let's just have a quick look on and see how our old mate Roy Clark's getting on. So Roy caught up in a big train here. As Roy tries to work his way around Paul Hayes, and interestingly enough, sitting further back there is Paul Young. So, of course, the PRA faithful would be really enjoying this, having a good old chuckle at Roy being in front of Youngie, but still a long way to go. And we'll see how this one ends up. A few cars going every which way here as well, so be very careful in passing these guys, as well as Youngie.
It's a very intense battle, isn't it?
3 wide behind him. Let's see Frank Hodak off the track there. I think Frank was being lapped. Someone's gone wide coming out of here on the grass, coming out of Le Mans. Car 16, so Jason Dibadito slightly off track there. So Roy's got his way around Darren Crosby. He's trying to fight his way back. Getting a nice draft up into Veacock. And getting the job done. You can just see the bumps as you come into Veacock there. Very tough corner.
Yeah, it's so easy to load up that outside tyre and accidentally lock a brake and understeer close to the wall. And then at the same time as well, because the car's so unsettled, it's really tricky to get the power down too at the same time, because you get too excited on that right foot, and before you know it, the back of the car will be kicking out and trying to overtake the front of the car. So it's a very, very tricky corner, the final corner of this track.
And of course, the man in front of Paul Young is Christian Smart, the protagonist from the incident in the Veacock corner on the restart.
So there's about 8 cars we've got in this battle pack here at the moment, Johnny. They're sort of starting to spread out a little bit, but yeah, Christian's certainly doing everything he can to gain back as many positions as possible, isn't he?
Definitely is. Some very unusual names to see fighting back around 2021.
Christian goes a little bit wide into there. Might give Paul the chance.
We might just work our way back up. We haven't had a look at Nathan Gore for a while, so Nathan battling it out with Andrew Archer behind him. If you are following along at home, don't forget to jump in the chat and let us know who you're supporting. Let us know how NATO's getting on. Rate him out of 10.
Well, to bring back up the fuel topic and the numbers and everything, we are at the critical lap window of lap number 32 to be able to bring it home in one more stop. Now, we did have a safety car that did pop out there, which may throw up a few of the numbers or may make it a bit interesting. However, it's yeah, if a driver wanted to do the ultimate undercut and go back to the conventional strategy, the window is certainly open, so we could see anything from any of the drivers at any point in time from here on in regarding pit stops.
Could be, and just wondering whether that could be the case with the Fishy Boys, whether they're doing the old cycling analogy of getting in the slipstream and just working each other around the track, trying to get the most out of the cars working as 3.
It's certainly an advantage when you're in this position as a team at the moment. The big question is for these 3 boys, who's going to be the one to get on the podium? You're working as a team doing everything to get together, but at the end of the day only one of them can get that podium, and there's 3 of them battling at the moment, so it could be a very interesting fishy sushi train battle to close us out for this race.
Could be. Interesting looking in the background there that Chastaneef's starting to put pressure back on McKnight again as well. And Harrison's worked his way back up into 9th spot with Loveridge in front of him. So it's a great drive from young Harrison Dengate.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good, young H, to be able to bring his way back into it. And again, thinking about that championship, if he keeps going at this rate, he's only a couple of spots behind Jamie. So with a couple races to go, you certainly want to minimise the damage that you have with bad results to be able to lose that touch that you have with the guys ahead. So certainly great to see.
And talking about rolling the dice on fuel strategies, James Chastaneef into the pits.
Come in, so could this be the ultimate undercut? Could he get up with those fishy boys in front of him? Could he be the meat in the sushi train again?
Will he jump McKnight? Stay tuned for all this on the same bat channel. Same bat time. Josh.
Mr. Roy Clark as well has come into the pits.
Mr. Roy Clark. So he still was in front of Paul Young when he came in. So it'll be interesting to see if he stays in front of Youngie. A bit of inter-team rivalry there from what we can gather from the chat. I've never seen a blue WK&P that far up. Obviously, Dave, while you were down the back on Thursday night, mate, you didn't see a blue WK&P car finish 7th in split 2. He just opens the door for me so easily, doesn't he? And he said chivalry was dead.
Sometimes it's just fantastic to sit back and just listen in on our Tuesday night banter that we get going. If it wasn't for vets, we wouldn't have banter like this.
And of course, while we're focusing on young Dennis, he came runners-up in the Full Send Motorsport Series last night. Lovely little pass into VCOC here. Which is a 16-round series. Oh, we've got a car stopped there.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Garbutt, looks like he's... Dave Garbutt, I think. Looks like he has died.
The hypersonic boys. This will be very interesting.
Oh, no, it's rolling. It's rolling. No, it stops. For sale. One hypersonic Commodore.
Comes without a front bar or a bonnet, and nearly got cleaned up there. It was that Darren Crosby was running a little bit wide, so maybe you saw that for sale sign.
So, not sure. Might go to some comms. He looks like he's moving. We'll go on the comms here and see if we get anything from race control. Yeah. We're rolling. We might just jump back on with Harrison. Harrison's got the job done with Loveridge. And of course, Scotty McCune, the Lambo fan, racing up in behind these boys here. So still a very tight battle amongst these three cars.
Yeah, we've got keeping one eye on the pit lane there as well, Johnny. We've got a huge amount of activity going on down there at the moment. So I think a lot of people have hit their critical lap number and are trying to do the best to undercut all their fellow competitors.
Of course, we want to have a quick look up the front. Jones has cleared out from Warboys a bit. Seemed to be the same scenario we had towards the end of the first stint. So Jones probably with the car that's been slightly better set up, maybe.
Yeah, that, and having a look at their lap times, Blake's got one oddball lap that's a little bit slower than the others, so I wonder if he just got caught up with a little bit of lap traffic or had a little whoopsie or something like that. But Jones, without a doubt, is certainly very consistent with his lap times at this tough, grueling track. So I wonder who will be the first to blink. Surely if you're in Blake's shoes at the moment watching the gap that Kobe got with the undercut, you'd be thinking about coming in the very near future to try and outdo him and give him a taste of his own medicine, as they say, try and get the undercut back.
Definitely. Of course, one of the fishy cars has peeled off, so as a team they're probably splitting their strategy, which is probably the way you would play it as a team boss. Of course, this series is really highlighting not just some good standard of driving, but it's also highlighting some really good tactical approaches to these longer races.
Yeah, most definitely. It's certainly not a case of I've got a good quick car over 20-30 laps, I'll just send it as much as I can and hope for the best. You really got to think about the whole picture for your evening in some of these longer races. So certainly gets a good old brain box ticking. Keeps us guessing as commentators, doesn't it, Johnny?
Oh, it definitely does. Definitely does. And it is a great circuit.
Yeah, when you get a lap around here right, it is very, very rewarding because it's so tough and so challenging.
Car parked off to the right there, getting out, lap traffic getting out of the way, I think.
So Nathan Cook slowly driving on by.
Down the Elman Straight. Into Veacock. You reckon he's out of fuel?
Surely he would have taken off by now if...
Let's just jump on board with Nathan.
He's just slowly coming to a stop here.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
The tyre ran a few on the back straight.
There you go, from the man himself.
He's out of fuel.
Let's just wait and see.
A flurry
Take the
of,
carboards and flags.
Yeah,
take
you've
the
heard it.
carboards and flags.
flurry
Please
of cars
maintain your
in the
race
pits.
speed.
You've heard it. You've heard it from the man himself, Ben Anthony. He's cooked up another safety car.
There you go, will Shannon get ahead of all of them?
There he comes. Here comes the Shan.
There you go.
Here comes the Shan.
He has been released again, ladies and gentlemen, twice within one night. Lock up your pets, hide your kids.
And War Boys has
Shannon,
just jumped Kobe Jones in the pit.
Wow, there you go.
And of course, these boys pitted, so they're not the number one car on the track, which is Michael Whiting. So that's an interesting strategy there in itself. So Whiting, our race leader under safety car conditions. Just so I don't confuse people, we'll just chuck the flag back up.
Was Whiting the first fishy car to pit out of there? Is he not pitted yet?
No, it was Troy Maguire was the first one to pit. I think Whiting hasn't pitted yet. Splitting the strategy, I think. And Archer hasn't pitted as well. We might just quickly jump on the old pit strategy.
And interestingly as well, Chastity has got ahead of our People's Champion. All this unfolding.
And of course, Chastity did that earlier stop as well. So
Yeah.
the guys that have done the earlier stop may pay off for them here.
Yeah. Although with that being said as well, both Rob and Troy Maguire are behind the People's Champion and Chastity. So somehow Chastity's become the big winner out of all this, jumping up into third. McKnight is in fourth, I think, effectively.
See Whiting's ducked in. Let's see what Archer does. Big shout out to the Andrew Archer fans. He just disappears on me. From the Racemaker team. So he's dived into the pits, which means War Boys will theoretically should be our leader on track as they all queue up behind, I think, Frank Kodak at the moment. As we come through Veacock Corner, we should start to pick up.
Question from Dave, can Chastity get home from here? Based off of the green flag running we saw on the first stint, Chastity pitted nice and early. I think it was on lap 33 or 34 if I remember correctly.
Michael Whiting's got out in front of him.
Oh, this is getting real interesting.
Ooh. Sorry, cut in there, no?
Yeah, no, that's all good. It's happening left, right and centre. Yes, I think, long story short, especially with this safety car, I reckon Chastity can make it home on fuel if he topped up.
This is true.
McKnight's talking, so I won't jump in there. Keep this PG. Can Chasty get home from here?
I reckon he can. So, even if he maybe took a punt to be able to try and rely on a safety car, I don't think he would have pitted so early that he would have had to have made one more pit stop that late into the race.
Let's have a look at the PRA corporate tent. Why wouldn't Chasty want to get home? That's all I've got to say.
There's that.
While we're under safety car, I'll see if we get the sound. Sound might not work, so I might do the commentary of this. Here, of course, is our lovely replay of the vet's last round here at Seabring.
Cameron saying, no,
Ken
don't look at
Beacock
this.
driving the safety car, coming up into Sunset.
He was away from the field, the big
And wacko on the roof.
Cameron, we were doing so well.
Hence the reason it's now known as Veacock Corner.
He's, I think he's officially taken over the title of this, the corner of this track forever. So I wouldn't be surprised if iRacing made an amendment to the track and corner name after in the near future.
While we're under the safety car, let's have a quick look. Our hard charger at the moment, up 14 spots, is Roy Clark. So, good old Roy, wanting to come and have a chat to us, but unfortunately, we won't let Dave Baldock tell him he's ineligible because he didn't set a qualifying time. So our real hard charger is Steve Kennedy. So, young Steve, doing really well tonight in the M1 Racer entry.
Yeah, up a very solid 8 spots at the moment.
Another one of the Vets boys doing really well out there. So it'll be interesting to see as we come back onto the race. The other cars that are doing really well, up 9 spots are Josh Strage. So Josh and the Pecky Performance Racing entry, waving the flag for Mark Peck. It's good to see Pecky out there. Of course, Pecky's not too far behind Roy Clark back in 24th. Big shout out to the flex man himself. And the other one we probably need to have a look at would be Josh Strage, which is up 9. Scotty McCune up 7 spots. So is Chasty, he's up 7 spots as well. And so we might just jump on the safety car here and just see if it's pulling away. Not yet. So got a feeling we may go one more under green here as we come through Veacock Corner.
Yeah, I think they're still sorting the train out at the moment. But yeah, having a look at, we got a number of people that are like very high contenders at possibly getting the hard charger award tonight, aren't we?
It's a good looking field. Everybody wants to come and talk to us. Let's see if Dave Garbett can go past this time without crashing. Christian Fletcher, if you're out there watching, I'm still sorry, mate. Just to not live it down, I did put Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball on the front of my bonnet of my car for the whole season as an apology.
Well, there is certainly the in the Vets League. There's certainly the chance to have some good fun with some of the stuff that happens out on track, isn't there?
It is a good league. If you're over 40, we're taking entries for season 10. It's a great league to jump into. I think we have 100 cars or 100 entrants now running in the series over 2 splits.
Wow. A lot of cars.
Split 1 boys are very serious. You know, when we look at the likes of McKnight trying to serve it up here to the young blokes, but, you know, McKnight gets it served up to himself from time to time from the blokes like Johnny Latham. And a few of the other boys in Vets. But very, very competitive bunch, the old Vets, but when you sort of start getting into the midfield and towards the back a bit more, and particularly in the split 2, the boys that race split 2 quite often, we love serving it up to each other. As you can see, if you have a look in the chats with Dave Baldock. It's always good fun on a Thursday night looking out for the Blue 37.
Yeah, if you're not doing anything on a Thursday night, certainly worthwhile having a watch of the Vets server.
Absolutely. The old Race Stars TV, get on it. Lukey does a great job broadcasting that series, and doesn't just broadcast Split 1 on Thursday nights, he also broadcasts a replay of Split 2 on Thursday nights, which is just as entertaining.
Yeah, it's certainly good that it's fantastic that he does both splits across the 2 different nights. So have Thursday live with the main one, but also calls the Friday live as if it's still the Thursday race. So it's all new to him as well, and it's all new for the viewers to see. It certainly makes for a good evening.
And then the other one to remember too is Ben Anthony, who organises the East Coast Series and organises the Vets. He also has a Porsche Cup Series that he runs on Wednesday nights, which has got quite a few entrants in that. And coming next season, he has the Big 5 series.
Ooh, what's the Big 5?
The Big 5 is an enduro series, which includes Daytona 24-hour race. We have also a Bathurst 12-hour, I believe. We've got... Oh, safety car's pulling away. We also have a Le Mans 24-hour, and I haven't got it in front of me at the moment, and I cannot remember the rest, so apologies, Ben. But yeah, good series to get onto. Let's see. Shan McMillan coming up into VCOC.
Make it through VCOC corner.
Can he emulate the boss?
Oh, pulls it up nicely. Oh, a little bit bumpy. He's made it. And he's gone through. Go on, give us a headlight flash there, Shan. You survived.
No internet fame for Shan.
He's just going to be another safety car driver.
We'll pick up the field here. And we've got Michael Whiting holding the boys up. We're waiting for it. When will he go? Holding it a bit longer than last time. And we're away.
And he's gone.
Green flag racing.
Got the jump on Blake a little bit there. Starting to fan out.
Quite a good jump.
McKnight. Sushi train behind him. This is very interesting.
It is. McKnight's jumped up a few spots. And the other one sitting behind the 2 fishy boys there is Dennis. Harrison Dengate up into 8th, doing really well.
Yes, here we go. In the championship battle, we got again an even spread between our main 3 men for the front of this series. So I'm sure that all of them are trying to... They've all got competitors in front of them. I'm sure all of them are trying their best to try and get as many championship points as possible before we get into the final couple of races.
Oh, we've got a spinner in the back.
That
Scotty
looks big.
McCune. Scotty McCune, that looked very big. And come on, we'll go back. We might just jump away from this real quick, go to the Betty Pig. Scotty McCune. Oh, he's been tapped. Well, a few cars involved here. Let's see, Josh Drage. Paul Young's got through. Looked like that was Roy Clark out on the grass. That's not great going as we jump back up the front.
There's a big incident on the rejoin here. Sorry, on the restart.
Have I missed another one, have I?
No, just
that,
like, yeah. Just that big incident there. There was plenty going on, cars going left, right and centre.
And KB Jones having a look on Warboys. Warboys, of course, you would have to let him go. Think of the championship as he takes the wide line through VCOC.
Or would you let him go, or knowing that we've only got 10 laps left, would you fancy yourself at trying to keep him behind you? Do you want an extra car between yourself and McKnight?
I think if it was me, Nath, I just want to keep all 4 corners of the car straight. Look after the tyres, look after my fuel load.
He's all over him, Kobe, isn't he? Although Blake's holding it in there. He's certainly making him earn his keeps for it. Although, yeah, at the same time, he doesn't want to lose too much time battling, because that will allow Chastity and McKnight in the background to start catching up.
Roy Clark has crashed. We'll go to that in a
dear.
second. Just give it a minute for for this to happen. We're going to jump. This is just for the PRA boys. So what's happened to Roy here? Oh, going left. Found the wall.
Oh dear.
Done a bit of a rejoin. And just the unsafe entry there, that's all it was. Maybe taking some driving advice off Dave Baldock there.
Sharing some knowledge can always be a good thing.
Tell you what, Nato, we haven't pressed it for a few weeks, but I'm going to go for it. Let's go the big finish.
I reckon you could be on here. I reckon it's certainly time to push that big button. That last safety car bunched us up. We got the quick boys all together. Anything is possible. Michael Whiting's certainly taking the most and having a good advantage of enjoying that lead while he can. Blake seems to have been able to find a little bit of pace to keep Kobe behind him. All the other boys seem to be, like Chastity, McKnight, Rob and Troy and Young H, all seem to be getting a little bit of a rhythm. Like, interestingly, having a quick look at the lap times,
We've
the
had an
quickest
incident.
man out of all of them is H.
Just going to quickly go back. We've got an incident back at VCOC
Yep.
between Pecky and Jason Dividito, I think. Oh, Dividito with the big send. Oh! Well, let's replay that one more time. That was massive.
Yeah. Send and a half.
Poor old Pecky. Won't be happy about that one. As we better jump back up the front. So we've got Michael Whiting, Warboys, Jones, Chastaneuf, McKnight getting closer again. He's closing the gap. Carmichael, Maguire, Dengate and 8th.
Yeah, I think Blake and Kobe are starting to eat into Michael's lead a little bit here, so I'm sure Michael's going to start having one eye in his mirror very, very shortly.
Here's one for you, out of left field.
Mm.
If you're Jones, do you, if you're not past Warboys by, say, lap 48, do you go, okay, I'm going to drop back and sit behind the boss?
That's that's a little bit of an interesting one there. What I would do is I would possibly ask him what his thoughts are. But part of me would want to be like, well, at the end of the day, we're all racing, we're all jumping on it. Kobe's joined at this part of the series where if he's up the front winning, he's taking points away from the both of them. But yeah, the position he's in at the moment, it'd be a tough call.
Would be. Oh, a bit of banging there.
Yeah, well, yeah, Blake's got ahead of Michael, and then yeah, at the moment,
So
Kobe's certainly got to earn his keeps.
And that may also affect his aero. As we know, since the last damage model update, you get a bash on the side of these things, they slow down a fair bit.
Yeah, they sure do. On such a big, fast-flowing track like this one, you certainly do not want any aero damage here. There you go. The man that's really won out of that is Blake. He's got a little bit of a gap now heading back there, so I'm sure he'll be making the most of this clear air at the moment.
A big shout out to Fart. Jason Fewens has jumped on board. How are you going, Jace? Glad you could join us. Another one of the vets faithful. Looks like we've got a car stopped on track as well, Nath.
Ooh, another safety car. Dare we do it?
I'm just going to see if we quickly jump on and have a look who that is.
Right, and interestingly, while you're looking for that, young Harrison has managed to pass one of the fishy cars.
No, they've got it going. Whoever it was has got the car going.
Got it going? Okay, that's good.
So J Dibs with the drive through there, as we expected after watching the replay. And James Chastanet sitting in fourth here, getting on the back of the train as we expected.
Yeah, they're all certainly giving it a red hot go at the end here, aren't they? Kobe all over the back of Michael. Trying to choose the different lines. Blake trying to break the toe. Kobe having a big look on Mick at the moment. Can he get it done? Will the tyres hold out for him? He is on the right part of the track going into the next section.
Oh, a bit of rubbing there again. Oh, here comes Chasty. Chasty gets them both.
The big winner.
That's a big move.
Wow.
And of course, the McKnighter drops into the back of this pack now. This battle just keeps growing.
Yeah, and here you go. To further your question, you're battling hard to drive like this. Now, do you calm yourself down a bit to let the team boss have a bit more? Oh, he's gone wide. Did he get a little tap?
Not sure there. Denners, something's happened to Denners as well. Harrison's dropped back to 14th. Might just see if we can see what happened there. I think Harrison's just had an off track. We'll just have a look what happened. Oh, Harrison. Big lose.
Oh dear, H.
Getting caught out by the change of direction coming on through the big corner. Or the big bend, sorry.
Certainly not what we want to see at this time of the race.
So McKnight catching up to Whiting now. So it'll be interesting to see if Whiting can hang on. James Chastanet from EMU Racing. We put the shout out to the Banter Alliance to get this man on track. We said we want to see Chasty. We want Chasty in the combox. If he can hang on for another 7 laps, he's going to come join us, Nath.
It's certainly going to be fantastic to see. That's, like you said, the call was put out and the call has certainly been answered. So it'll be fantastic to see him hold it together, and he's got the pace, and like we were talking about with Dave earlier, he'll have the legs in the tank. So it will be good and interesting to see how it goes. I'm glad you hit that big button before, because it has certainly been an eventful last stint going on here at the moment.
Definitely has been. We might just have a quick look through a bit further back while we can. So Paul Young up the back of Josh Drage here. He's made his way back up. I think he was back at 20th at one stage, so he's back up to 12th. Dengate sitting behind him under all sorts of pressure from Kennedy. Of course, Kennedy still at the moment is our hard charger.
Yep.
And the other man that was miles in front of Youngie before, of course, was Roy Clark. He's up 9 spots in 24th. So Roy's dropped off the pace a bit, and that's probably why, because he's still missing the bonnet. Very second-hand looking car. It's good to see the PRA boys like wiping the signage off the side like the WK&P boys do. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Dave.
Monkey see, monkey do.
I'll jump back up here. So, Chasty 3.2 seconds behind Warboys. Michael Whiting 0.4 seconds behind Chasty. Our number 2 in the championship, McKnight, sitting back in 4th. This is where the action's at the moment. Of course, Dave, you PRA boys do make it quite easy.
It'll be interesting to see what the lap times are as we come back this far. They've all had a lap to sort of settle back in and get their groove. Blake's managed to do a 202.1. Got Chasty has done a 202.7, Michael Whiting a 202.7, and McKnight a 202.6. So while Blake's quicker than the 3 behind, McKnight certainly...
I reckon something's happened to Whiting. I reckon Whiting's out of juice.
Out of juice, or is he doing a Has race control ordered a readdress?
Could be the redress as well, I suppose. As we said, we're not running the comms because we're trying to keep this PG. I'd say it might have been a redress.
Yeah, I do have it sort of quietly sitting in the background of mine to see if there's anything that we pick up, or just to keep a little bit of an ear out in case anything safety car related or comms related. And yeah, it was just a little bit I heard in the background about that, so I have a feeling that's what it might be for. But what this does with regards to our championship, Blake in first and McKnight in third.
Definitely makes it very interesting. Of course, you know what that means, don't you?
We have to talk to Jamie again.
Yes.
And the viewers get to hear Jamie's lovely voice again as well.
Of course, everyone wants to come and talk to us, including Steve Kennedy, who's leading our hard charger at the moment, still up 12 spots.
He's certainly in the box seat for our hard charger award tonight.
So it looks like Blake Warboys making amends for Suzuka. And making amends for his indiscretions entering the pits.
He's certainly playing all the cards right tonight, isn't he, Blake? Kobe certainly made him work hard for it, though. It certainly hasn't come very easily for Blake. But he's played all the cards right at all the right times, and with a few laps to go, he is in the box seat to take the maximum amount of points. We've just had an interesting request from Mark in the chat, saying that he is enough from Jamie on Thursday nights. Doesn't want to hear him on Tuesday nights as well.
Good call there from Race Control. Race Control has called out that if Blake wins a championship, his dad should buy him a Simu Cube wheel.
That's there you go. I'll buy you the nugget stew, and then you can buy Blake the upgrades.
Rumour has it Nathan needs it to strengthen up the pinky finger.
Yeah, well, that is true. It's I'll just have to run it and wear it in for Blake until my hand's better. It's the only logical way, isn't it, Johnny?
Apparently Roy's blowing up on Discord. That's a word coming in from Shervo. So Shervo's not too impressed with Roy blowing up on Discord.
There's plenty going on at the moment, isn't there? Yeah, 3.5 laps to go. Plenty going on in this final stint.
There is. And Ash Barella's had another off somewhere. We won't go to that one. We'll stay here where the action is. Jump back up to McKnight, putting the pressure on Chastity. Of course, with Warboys running up the track there. He needs to get past Chastity here.
Yeah, with regards to that championship, he certainly needs every point that he can get to minimise the gap for Blake. Or sorry, to minimise the gap from Blake to himself.
Come on, Stewie. I reckon Blake deserves more for Christmas than Nathan's gammy finger.
Well, I believe that falls into the definition of you win some and you lose some.
So Jamie McKnight, P2 in the championship, sitting in third. Championship leader Warboys out in first. What can McKnight do? He needs to get past Chastaneath here to keep the championship alive. It's going to turn into a two-horse race as Stengate has dropped right off the pace, sitting back in 12th at the moment. And of course we've got other blokes in this.
Isn't going to help him.
No, it's not. And of course we've got other players in this scenario here. We've got Kobe Jones, who'd love to get up the track a little bit further. We've got Troy Maguire, who started on pole, would love to finish on the podium. It's all happening.
Well, out of this little pack that we're forming here, Chastity and McKnight seem to be, I think they've used up the bulk of their tyre, because they're sort of plateauing off with their times a bit. Rob, Kobe and Troy are all quicker than them by a few tenths of a second, so considering they're all so close, we could be in for a really, really gangbusters finish here.
Could be. These guys are absolutely smoking this. As we jump on board Michael Whiting here and have a look at the train in front. It's dropping back a little bit as we move up to Maguire. It's getting into the slipstream as we come into Veacock Corner. You can see the tyres are all screaming now.
I think they're certainly using up as much of that Dunlop tyre as possible.
And of course out of this group here as well, did the safety car give them enough to be able to do this without having to fuel save?
Yeah, that certainly is a big part of it. You would like to hope that you'd have enough fuel, because then it becomes the game of who's going to be the first to blink and try and give up a little bit of pace and save fuel. But if you give up that little bit of pace, you could quite easily lose a number of positions at the moment, depending on where you are in this pack.
Of course, the lap count's coming down, so you're running out of time to make the move though.
Yeah, it's one thing to catch up, as we've seen on a number of occasions in the series. One thing to catch up, certainly another thing to be able to pull off the pass at the moment. So one man who's actually the quickest out of all of them is Christian Smart, has managed to just about tag onto the end of this pack, but I wonder, will he run out of laps before he can really capitalise? He might get there, but that might be about it.
Well, he's definitely got up on the back of Michael Whiting, who dropped off the pack of this group. Which you can sort of see it's definitely turning into a train.
Yeah, by the time Christian jumps onto the back of this, it'll be a 7-car train to bring us home for the final step of the podium. The final 2 steps of the podium.
Ash Barella stopped on track. No, he's all good. We'll jump back on with the boys.
Yeah.
And here we go. Who we got? We've got Rob Carmichael pulling up alongside Kobe Jones. Not getting the job done. In fact, sorry, Kobe getting past Rob, sorry. Now Jamie's got a rear gunner.
A little bit of a love tap there. Maybe trying to run him out of room. A little bit of racecraft going on there. Rob, I'm sure, will try to get it back.
Of course, Jones here, he might slow it up a little bit. Play the rear gunner for McKnight. Give him a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, you would like to assume from Jamie's point of view and from a teammate's point of view that that's a little bit of pressure off, and that you can just keep the eyes forward. And can you get Chastity? Can you get the most amount of points for this evening to try and minimise that gap between yourself and Blake? There we go. And Jason has thrown out a big call here that he reckons that there'll be tears by the end of the race. And well, looking at how they're driving, whilst they're doing very, very good, it just takes one little mistake to end up in tears. So anything is possible, Jace.
Yep, here's your tears. Paul Young's off. Not sure what's happened to Youngie, but he's dropped back quite a few spots, back to 16th.
Yeah, he's sort of battling behind with Paul Hayes, Scotty McCune and Andrew Archer, so not what Paul Young was after there.
Definitely not. So Chastaneef in second, McKnight third, Jones fourth, Carmichael 5, 6th, Maguire 7th, Whiting 8th, Smart, all in a line coming down into Veacock.
As Blake crosses the start finish line onto his final lap.
This is the last chance. So these boys have 3.6 miles or 5.8 kilometres to get the job done here. War Boys comfortably 5 seconds in front. The other question we've got is, have you got enough fuel in the tank?
You would imagine that their tyres are perfectly okay to be able to bring them home, even though they've used up a lot more of the grip compared to other stints. Shouldn't really be a factor for them at the moment. They're all in a groove, they're all in that freight train. Who can use the slipstream to be able to bring it home? McKnight trying to have a little bit of a look on Chastity.
As we get they all get through the hairpin. So starting to run out of opportunities to overtake. Next overtaking opportunity down here coming into Cunningham.
Certainly going to be a case of who's the best under brakes, and as we close through to these last few corners.
As we come up now into Tower, another spot where it's an opportunity.
They're all Kobe all over the back of McKnight though. This will be interesting. Will he go for a pass or will he just sit there? They're all fishy boys sitting right behind the sushi train, bringing it in, trying to do their best.
Of course,
I will admit, John, the cars look fantastic at the moment as they're all driving through here.
It does. As we come down the Ullman Straight for the final time. And someone's run out of fuel.
Oh, is that Kobe?
That's Kobe.
Kobe's dropped back.
And we come around Veacock for the final time. And we pick up Blake Warboys to take the victory. Well done, Blake.
Winner. Good stuff, Blake. Congratulations.
And it looks like Chastity's going to get the job done just. Then Carmichael, Maguire. Looks like a little bit of a tap there from teammates. Maguire, Whiting, Smart. Jones has managed to get it home in 8th. Dinners has recovered to 9th by the looks. As we continue to pick this up. Darren Crosby under a lot of pressure from Michael Stewart. We've got a car stopped out on track. I'm not sure who that is. I think it's Nathan Cook. But these boys bring it home nicely in 13th and 14th and 15th. Paul Young, he's going to cross the line. He's going to come home in 16th. I'm sure the PRA faithful won't be too happy about that. But at least he's got it home.
Yeah, that's always a plus.
And Paul Hayes has come in, followed by Andrew Archer, Scotty McCune. He's going to bring it home in 19th. Toddy Martin. He's going to come home in 20th. In 21st, Roy Clark. Not a bad effort starting from the grid in his debut race for the series. Andrew Hoffman in 22nd. And it's good to see Pecky bring it home as well in 23rd, up 5 spots. And Frank Hodak coming through. And Darren Garbutt. So that is our race finish, ladies and gentlemen. Blake Warboys brings it home in 1.
I think Frank Hodak, I think, might be out of fuel, and I think David Garbutt's giving him a little bit of a helping hand.
And we might just have a look. We did see Scotty McCune have an incident on the last lap. We'll just see what that is. A little bit wide in turn 1. Under brakes, got it on the grass. A little bit unlucky there for Scotty. And what we might do is hit that one there and just go. That was a fantastic race, Nath.
Yeah, that was certainly an eventful one. It was like the calm before the storm for the first half. We had those couple of safety cars, and that big red button that we hit at the end certainly managed to deliver tonight.
Definitely did, mate. It was quite impressive. If I just dump that there, I should be able to see that. So we can basically say that Warboys, our championship leader, has done a fantastic job to bring it home in first, considering he didn't qualify on pole. And then I would probably back that up with, of course, James Chastanoof. Chasty, we did put the call out to the Banter Alliance to serve up James Chastanoof, and they did, and he did not disappoint. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, he certainly brought the goods tonight, didn't he?
He definitely did. And then to back that up, we've got the People's Champion, Jamie McKnight, home in 3rd. And then we've got what we're calling the sushi train, the fishy boys, Rob Carmichael, Troy Maguire, Michael Whiting. Good fight back from Troy after an early incident, after no qualifying on pole. So I think he's probably be disappointed, but he should be happy in his fight back there. Michael Whiting, and then we run into Christian Smart, Kobe Jones running out of fuel at the end, Harrison Dengate bringing it back home in 9th after a couple of little incidents earlier on. And the round out our 10 is Nicholas Loveridge. We might grab our hard charger in first because he's first in the box. We'll bring in Steve.
So.
Steve, congratulations on being the hard charger, mate.
Thanks. Nathan, is it?
It's John.
Oh, okay.
Don't confuse me with him.
Yeah.
Good evening, Steve.
Hey.
Yeah.
This must be Nathan then.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be me.
Sorry.
That was a great drive, mate. You sort of managed to stay out of all the trouble and not get caught up in anything.
Yep, that was the main thing. Stay out of trouble. I think I benefited from a few people's mishaps, but yeah, it was a good race. It's improved a lot over the last couple of weeks. Just everyone's given each other room, and yeah, it's been good.
It's
And
good.
yep, your
Yeah.
broadcast is getting a lot better too. I've been watching it at work every second week. I've been on afternoon shifts, so
We're trying. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
We give it a red hot go.
Big shout out to the PRA boys for allowing us in the corporate tent this week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
bonus,
Nice
eh?
fancy place today.
3 beers?
Yeah, free beers.
May have been one or two that were sunk.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to, Steve?
Oh, just M1 Used Cars and Darren Crosby. We sort of help each other out a lot and sort of run things by each other, how to get by it. We only put down a couple of laps last night, so I probably started a bit further back than what I normally would, but I had a shit of a start also. I stalled it on the grid and was last after the first corner, so that didn't help either. So
to get up to 12th, that's a hell of a fight back.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, as I
effort,
said,
mate.
a lot of mishaps in front of me that I seem to avoid tonight. Normally I seem to wipe them out or be part of it, but I managed to stay clean tonight, so it was good.
No
Good
worries.
stuff.
Well, we might bring in our race winner, Mr. Blake Warboys. Blake,
Hello.
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations, Blake.
Thank you.
Good stuff, Mr. Warboys.
Yeah, that's hard work. Tell you that.
How would you sum that one up?
Opportunistic.
That's a big
Put
word
it-
for you.
Yeah, it is. Put it that way.
Yeah, you kind of got away from the pack at the right time when they were all sort of squabbling amongst themselves, which I thought sort of played into your hands. And I think also the question I was going to ask was, did you short fill the car?
No, just. I had half a lap of fuel left.
Half a lap because you.
Precision mathematics.
So I saved about a litre of fuel to be able to do a small burnout at the end. But yeah, I thought as soon as I pitted for the last time and the safety car came out, I dropped another lap of fuel out roughly.
Yep.
And then wasn't really expecting to jump Kobe, but yeah, the jump Kobe was good. But then just to sort of get held up with a few of the lap guys coming around, just put us in behind Michael there. But yeah, just had to wait for the right opportunity and go up the inside.
And of course, the other good thing that you've probably got to be happy with is the fact that the top three of you drivers all finished the race with 0 incident points.
Yeah, especially or a track like this where it's very easy to make a mistake and just get that off track or nick a wall or something. I came very close a few times, but yeah, to get a 0x and to keep that championship really heating up is good.
It's good, mate. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Benny for all his hard work. I know he's a busy man at the moment, so to be putting on the series is great. our safety car driver tonight, Shannon. I believe he jumped in replacement of Richie, who's waiting on his new equipment. Of course, our sponsors, Wodonga Carts and Parts, LGK Carts Australia, WK&P Race Engines, Dirty Pig Clothing, Kinetic Industries, and Kinetic Motorsport. And then to you guys again for a lovely broadcast. I'm looking forward to watching.
Oh, you still haven't watched it yet.
I better say a happy birthday to Dad for yesterday, and hopefully you gave him his chicken nuggets, Nathan. I'm sure he's been looking for those chicken nuggets in the mail.
Well, he did finally. I did notice in the comments tonight. He gave me a location for where he and his caravan are at the moment. So I might need to find the nearest Macca's or KFC.
Nah, fair enough.
And we did drop in some suggestions for Christmas presents.
Oh, okay.
We might bring in our number 2 man, James Chastaneuf. James, we put the call out and you delivered. Congratulations on P2, mate, on debut.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, guys. It's good to succumb to peer pressure.
Of course, I think there's a lot more pressure from the PRA and Banter Alliance faithful than there was us, but that's all right.
It's a clear Roy Clark job, pure and simple. A little bit of Dave Baldock in there too.
Well,
cool.
Dave certainly had his work cut out for him tonight. He was busy typing away on his own there for a while to keep our comments viewers happy, so he certainly put in a good effort.
Yeah, I'm sure his fingers are bleeding on the keyboard trying to keep up with how much Roy Clark talks. So,
of course, if we had the rights to music, we would have played all by myself for him. But we couldn't do that for Dave, unfortunately.
Single lighter.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to, Chasty?
Yeah, shout out to the Banter Alliance guys, the EMU guys. Shame Darren couldn't make it, but yeah, shout out to Paul Young and Roy Clark racing the series, and then everyone supporting me. Shervo James, thanks, man. And yeah, shout out to Bay 21 Coffee Beans.
Sounds great. Okay,
Stuff, mate.
Everybody take a breath.
Beep a button at the ready.
Yeah, and here we go.
All I can do is try and hold you up.
And Mr. McKnight, congratulations on your 3rd place tonight, mate. It sounds like, or looks like, you worked really hard to get there, to get past that young KB Jones fella.
I'm absolutely munted. I'm like completely spent. I've just had to go to the toilet while I was on, wireless speaker, so I didn't have to press a button. All the boys had a good listen to me emptying, because it was a long race, 51 laps, and I had some pretty quick young fellas around me, John, as you know. And that's when you start to feel 45, because you know that they're 18 and they're not even sweating, and you're just laid in sweat. But I'll tell you what, you won't get anywhere better for clean racing. It's like the veterans. I was just saying to the boys, like me, James and Rob Carmichael and Kobe, we were just going hammer and tong, and Christian tonight at the start. And I got a 0x race, man, and that's just a testament to the guys around me. That's how good they are. I really appreciate it, and that's why I come here for the racing. It's so good.
Oh, nice. The viewing was even better. It was just that the train of cars, I think it was about 5 or 6 years there in those last 10 laps, was just phenomenal. And just
the safety car really, I think, helped tonight. Like, even though I was spewing because I had a 7-second gap to the bloke behind me, and we know young H can pull out a spell if he has to, so I was a bit concerned about that. But luckily I'd been saving fuel and I had a pretty quick pit stop, and then Rob fluffed his, I think he stalled it in the pits, which allowed me to jump him. And then from that point onwards, I just waited for the guys in front to make a mistake, because they were all faster, and I knew that. Like, I won't lie to you, but I knew I could do nice, consistent late 201s, low 202s, not make a mistake, and I was just hoping they didn't. And then KB and Michael unfortunately got into each other a bit. It wasn't intentional, and that forced them to drop back. So it was just me and James left, and I put all the pressure in the world I could on James. I knew Blake was gone; he was long gone. And I was a bit upset I didn't break him, mate, because he's pretty cool under pressure, young James. I was sticking the nose right up the inside, and he was just calm as you like, turning in. And I was like, actually, the second time he done it, I went to my guys in Discord. I was like, that's good driving, man. This guy's he's ice cool. I'm not going to bust him up, and I didn't.
Yeah, I did notice you have a bit of a look every now and then, sort of try and see what you could muster out of him. So it was good watching the pressure.
You know how annoying I can be. You know how annoying I can be on the track. You've seen it yourself, and I know I'm annoying, and that's I've got to work with my tools, because I just haven't got the outright pace. But I've got to say to James, well done, and Blake, it's him and me in the championship, but there's no way in the world I'll beat him if he keeps driving like that. He's got to make a mistake for me to win. So I'm just as proud to be second behind him. He's that good. So well done, Blake.
Of course, 2 rounds to go with Imola next week and then Bathurst.
Yeah, they're 2 good tracks for me though, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. I don't think anyone will catch me for second at those tracks, but I need Blake to not eat his wheat bix that day or something. Something's got to go wrong, or I'm screwed. Yeah.
So what you're saying is I need to hide the wheat bix for you, do I, Jamie?
Do something, mate, or put a bit of just a little bit of rat poison in there, so you shit yourself all afternoon or something like that. That'd be good. But nah, mate. I mean, honestly, and they boys will tell you from the veterans, mate. I'm happier to be second if I'm racing someone who's good and it's quality and it's good fun.
Yep.
There's no fun winning by a mile, as you know yourself. And tonight was one of those races where it could have gone either way. Like there's 4 or 5 blokes could have won it, and it was just about patience, and that's what you did better than anyone, mate. So well done.
Thank you.
I'm
getting sick of you doing that. Actually, I wish you'd stop. No, in all seriousness, mate, you just improved. I reckon this season too. I'm sure the boys agree. You've improved out of sight as the season's gone on. Well done,
cheers, man. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone you want to give a shout out to, Jamie?
Mate, I want to give a big shout out to my mate John Van Ree for staying up all night and doing the broadcast for us. He's a champion. And even better than that is young Ray Warren, or Nathan Brown is his name. He's really up there in the commentary stakes. He's going well. And obviously the boys at USSR and United Sim Racing, United Sim Sports, and United Synergy Sim Racing, we're a great big crew, and I'm learning a lot off those guys, so thanks to them, and the sponsors Valvoline and everyone else. Cheers, guys.
No worries.
Not a problem at all, mate.
Hey.
Great to be up here. I didn't expect it. You have a good night, boys.
We will, and we'll leave everybody there as we start to prepare for next week's round at Imola. So back here, same time at 7:45 next Tuesday night, where we come to you live from Italy.
Yeah.
So, yep, we'll see you all then.
Catch you all next week.